All right, everybody, let's get started. Thank you to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We appreciate you making the time today. So today's webinar topic is Solar plus Storage Sales, a crash course, Sales Zero to Hero in 1 hour. So many of you are probably gurus. Others are probably brand new to this. Some of you I call tweeners. You're in between. Maybe you do a lot of grid tied, but you're getting into the battery space. It's brand new to you. You're having to learn it. Today's webinar is a crash course in how to talk about solar plus storage intelligently if you really haven't ever done this before. So I encourage for the experienced attendees, share this with those who are less experienced. And for those of you who are less experienced, this is not intended to be a technical webinar. It's not meant to be technical on purpose. We will talk about some technical things. If you have technical questions, of course, put them in the chat. We'll try to get to them in our Q&A portion at the end. But the idea is to bring confidence to a sales situation when you're just having to maybe do some quick calculations on the fly, talk about the Sol-Ark, talk about what it can do, and make it all about the customer. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So we'll talk a little bit about us. Some of you are working with us already. Some of you may not be, so we'll just talk a little bit about Sol-Ark, about you guys and your customers. Some common applications. Of course, there's a wide range and myriad of applications, but we'll talk about some of the most common ones. We'll do a very quick features overview. The Sol-Ark is packed with tons of features. We won't unpack everything in detail. That would take too much time, but we'll try to give a quick overview for some of you new attendees. Basic inverter sizing, how to do some calculations on the fly. They won't be 100% accurate, but they will get you really close to at least probably getting a signed deal so you could do a site survey and go a little deeper with the customer. Cost comparisons, how to talk intelligently just about Sol-Ark and understand what else is out there. It's about data, math, and facts, and we want you to be confident that you know exactly what your customer will be purchasing. Okay, we'll talk about how to join our network if you're not already with us, and we'll have some time just to let you ask us anything. So let's hop right into it. So at Sol-Ark, our mission as a veteran-owned engineering company is to help families and businesses be less dependent on our vulnerable power grid in the most affordable way possible. Well, we have our flagship product, the Sol-Ark. We have a model, the 8K, and our flagship, the 12K. It is the most efficient and affordable and powerful solar storage inverter in the world. We've been in business 7 years, 0 requested refunds. That's not to say we haven't had our share of issues, but we always take care of our customers, and no one has ever asked for their money back. So let's talk a little bit about COVID-19. We are actually accelerating production. We are stacking more inventory, and we are hiring at a fierce pace. So we're fully operational, and we're excited to be available to you guys during this tough time. So we take pride in the fact that we do have 0 employee turnover. We have a culture where we really want to treat everybody the way we want to be treated. We're very financially stable. We've been growing 200% year over year for the last 5 years, and we actually have a very healthy balance sheet with 0 debt on our books. So we again place a lot of importance on amazing customer support and customer experience. We like to think of ourselves being Texans, an approachable and friendly bunch. We encourage everybody to call. It can be a homeowner, it can be installer, distributor, anyone. We pick up the phone and we talk to you. We come from humble beginnings. We started designing the Sol-Ark for ourselves and then working with the DIY community. So we get it, guys. We want to be there for you. So it's all about you. whether you're a distributor or an installer or a solar salesperson, an independent, doesn't matter. We want to help you sell more deals to a wider range of prospects. Some people have shared with me that they really want to sell solar plus storage, and they get a lot of requests, but they're just not confident. So an objective of today is to help you get more confident to both sell and design anywhere, anytime, in any situation. As our customer, of course, you have access to our 7-day-a-week engineering team. They're an amazing group, and we have a hardware that is tested to military reliability. Well, we understand the importance of, for example, if you're off-grid and you have to drive 3 hours and take a boat 2 hours and you have a problem, that's an issue, and we take testing very seriously. We want to give your customers peace of mind, with that said, and help you lower your cost, their cost, and get the best value. We really want everyone to get the best bang for their buck. Okay, so ultimately it's all about the end customer. None of us would be in business without the end customers. So with Sol-Ark, we want solar plus storage to be affordable. And we have made it affordable. We really think we have. Solar plus storage can power, with Sol-Ark, really heavy stuff, guys. It takes 2 or 3 of some other companies' products to do what just one Sol-Ark can do. So that hopefully will simplify installation, bring savings, and let your customer feel confident. Our 10-year warranty is military tough. We'll talk about that a little bit more shortly. And lastly, we want to help both homeowners and businesses protect their valuable devices. I actually had a customer call me this morning. They want to back up a climatized room for highly valuable artwork, possibly millions of dollars of artwork. So they cannot afford any kind of glitch or grid failure. So that's an example of why a lot of customers go with us for UPS, and we'll talk about that 500 times faster switch time and why that's important. So there are, like I said, a wide range of common applications, but I wanted to go through the top 5 that we tend to get calls about. Some of you may just nod your head like, yeah, of course. Others who are maybe new to this space, I'm going to go through it pretty quickly here. You may have a customer that wants basic backup, and they're on a tight budget. They want all the benefit, but they don't have a lot of the dollars. So what's the right solution for them, and how to approach that? Or maybe they care more about the comfort than the dollars, and they have a good budget, and they just want everything backed up and don't want to have to think about it. Or maybe they're kind of a customer that it's in between, but the real key issue is they've gone solar and now the utility has done away with net metering, or they have time of use because the utility is charging exorbitant amounts during certain times of day, or they're a business and deal with demand charges. So there are quite a few features that the Sol-Ark can do to resolve that. Maybe the customer already has solar. That's a frequent question. How do we retrofit and add a generator? Perhaps your customer already has a generator or is considering a generator. That oftentimes I've found is a deal breaker. They won't move forward unless they can do that. So we'll talk a little bit about what that can do for your customers. And lastly, it is more niche, but some of you, I think, work in this niche. It's off-grid, so we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Okay, guys. So up here I have this picture of the Sol-Ark with a brain on it. For the new sales groups out there, when I explain what Sol-Ark does to my own family that have no experience with solar, I just tell them that I work with a product that is the brain of an entire solar ecosystem. It is the power center and brain, and I found that to be the best analogy with a lot of homeowners. If they just understand that without the brain, everything is dead, right? So with the brain, it has to be the most intelligent and powerful brain possible. You kind of want that highest IQ available to you. And so that's what we attempt to do here at Sol-Ark. So let's go through some features about the Sol-Ark. Again, lots to unpack here. Don't expect the new guys to digest everything on the first day, but we're going to go through this pretty quickly. We do have other webinars and videos on our YouTube channel that go into a much deeper dive into all of these. You can go to our website at solark.com to our support tab and download our manuals. But let's just go through this one by one. So the Sol-Ark one box, guys, can do both single split phase, 120/240, and 208. It can do three-phase. 2 units will do true three-phase. 1 unit will do 2 of the 3 legs. So why is that important? It's important because when ordering, you just order one box. If you have crews, you don't have to worry about them grabbing the wrong one or they forgot to grab a certain component. It's really a simple, easy fix. Everything is built inside the box that you're going to need. You can grid tie, guys. A lot of customers ask if they can grid tie without batteries, just like a regular grid tie inverter, like an SMA or a Solar Edge or an Enphase, whatever. And they want to add batteries later. Absolutely, we can do this. Grid cell, there are several modes, so if the customer does have net metering, they can grid cell. If they've done away with net metering, or maybe they have some time of use need, there's the limited to home mode, which is for zero export and time of use, as well as peak shaving for demand controls. Now, these are really important, I found, in maybe like the West Coast, or with businesses that are getting charged crazy rates and they need to just cut off their peak demand. And there will be some technical webinars about that more deeply. But if you have general questions, we can answer those. This is my favorite feature, guys, the no glitch switch. We have a patented technology to actually instantaneously go to battery backup when the grid fails in 4 milliseconds. That's 0.004 seconds. That's so fast, you can't even see the lights blink. It's 500 times faster than anything else out there. So we take a lot of pride in offering that to customers. We're doing some exotic stuff like in missiles, silos and bunkers, military applications, IT servers. Anyway, we'll talk about that too. Off-grid. So not to get too technical for the new guys, but we are grid forming. So for those experienced grid forming, you know what that means. And we have our smart load feature for load shedding. So really important, actually cool feature to help protect batteries. You can use 10 to 40% less batteries with our smart load feature. Okay. DC and AC coupling together. So if you come over to the left side of the page, there are these 2 inputs here where you can DC couple up to 16.5 kilowatts of PV solar. And over here, you can go into the load or the gen up to 9.6. Actually, it's 9.6 to the load, 7.6 to the gen. But the nice thing is that you can do both simultaneously. Gives you a lot of flexibility with design. You can use any battery, guys. So we work with quite a few battery companies, Simplify, Fortress, Discover, Blue Planet, Stores, PowerSync. If you need a recommendation about a particular application, just give us a call. We also have our own Sol-Ark AGMs. We don't necessarily expect or require you to get those. We just have them available if that's important to your customer and they ask for them. Okay, next, AC coupling. I touched on that a little bit. So many new guys to storage call me up and they say, hey, Andy, I got 500 customers in my Rolodex who have Solar Edge HD Waves or Enphase microinverters, and I just need to get them batteries because they're calling me for batteries. What do I do? Super easy retrofit, guys. You're just going to plug right in here to the load or to the gen. I'm giving you the strategy The tactics are in our manual, or please call our support team or watch the webinar from April 3rd on our YouTube channel with more detail. But this is super easy to handle. You can do a cost analysis. You just want to swap out the inverter and just DC couple, or you can actually just plug and play, just plug it right in. For the experienced guys, it will frequency shift, which is pretty cool. So if you have questions on that, again, we'll touch base, with you. Next is auto generator start. I can't emphasize how important this is to so many potential prospects. We work with a lot of customers that already have generators, and many solar companies that we've talked to have lost deals because they just can't move forward because the customer doesn't really, they're like, I have a generator, but I can't do it. It's not worth the investment. But you can do this with us. So it's extremely complex technically. It took our engineering team over 9 months to figure this out. Not even Generac has figured out this, and I don't mean to pick on them, but it's extremely important to customers. We can work with just about any generator. For those less technical, just hold on a second, but for the more technical, even generators that have dirtier power, like with total harmonic distortion of like 20–25%, our engineering team tells me that they still have not seen issues. So really flexible here. If they want to use the time of use mode, we put this in quiet mode. That means Mr. and Mrs. Jones don't have their generator automatically start at 3:38 in the morning and wake up everybody. You can program it to start at 7 a.m. Okay, guys? So that's a really cool feature, and it can go right here. Another feature, peak power. So we're Texas-based, we love big stuff, and we wanted big power. That way you can power high draw loads. Central air conditioning, guys. So for the non-technical guys, if you see a customer and they appear to have a budget, they can actually power their whole central AC for their home or business using Sol-Arks. Not even two Tesla Powerwalls, guys, can match just what one Sol-Ark can do. And I don't mean to pick on them. We just look at the data. We've taken all of these companies' products, we've broken them down, and so depending on what's important to your customer, you make the choice. But if you have customers that want this peak power for heavy loads or maybe pumps, we can do that. Okay, right here is our label. This is an alphabet number soup of all sorts of stuff for salespeople that just makes people run for the hills. But for the technically inclined guys, we won't dive in too deep. Just let's highlight some of the important things. US here, we're certified UL here. C means Canada. And then here, we are on the CEC list. The CEC, for the new guys, is the California Energy Commission. So it is a grid support interactive inverter. We are UL 1741, 1741 SA. Rule 21, HECO, PREPA for Puerto Rico, etc., all through here. And there is already built-in arc fault and ground fault protection, so you do not need to buy those components separately like other inverters may require you to do so. For those with an unstable grid, again, for the new sales guys, all you have to know is that we can handle super unstable grids. We have what's called frequency and voltage ride-through and different and the 1741 SA settings that you can actually custom program here for minimum and maximum for the frequency and voltage. If you have questions on that, please ask your crews or just call us, and we'll talk about that with you. Maximum continuous AC pass-through is 12,000 watts, and we can do, when the grid is down, 8 kW AC plus 4 kW DC into the batteries simultaneously. 8 plus 4 is 12. That's why we call it the 12K. Okay. If it's grid connected, it will do grid cell around 9,000 to 9,600 watts. So that can be confusing to some at first. If you have questions, again, please reach out to us. We don't want to spend too much time. We have too much to unpack today. Okay. So this is what I call the Christmas chart. Red and green chart. It's very technical. It makes salespeople run for the hills, but I think it's important just to show it because we did a comparison analysis where we took inverters from all of the other companies out there we think are in the space, and we ran some data. We verified this data with the manufacturers. We would never want to misrepresent. We, again, are an engineering team at heart. We work on data, math, and facts. So we wanted just to break everything down. There may be some features that are more or less important to certain customers. Take some time to do this. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. Tom Brennan, our head engineer, has other webinars where he goes into this in more detail on our YouTube channel. Just reach out. But I encourage you to go to our website, Sol-Ark.com, and at least look at it on your own time and digest some of the info. So going back to the no glitch switch, this is personally my favorite feature when working with new customers. I try to break it down really simple to them. So Mr. and Mrs. Jones, it's really inconvenient when PG&E or SDG&E is turning off the power every 3 days, and every time you have to reset 32 clocks. And maybe you're a Silicon Valley entrepreneur, and that's just really uncomfortable. You don't want to have to do that in your mansion. Or maybe for the customer who just has one clock in their home, that's just still annoying. So they don't have to deal with that with our no glitch switch. We do a lot of work with hospitals, medical centers, especially with electronic medical devices. I wouldn't want someone's sleep apnea machine or their heart monitor to glitch if the power were to go out. That won't happen. We work with a lot of first responders, lots of disaster groups. So if you have those types of projects, reach out and we'll be happy to help. We're in server rooms. We work with IT. We work with a lot of homeowners now working from home, especially in this environment. So it's no fun when the power goes out and everything glitches and you lose all your data, or you can't use your Ring and see who's at the door, or your cameras. That is a very important feature, especially for us at Sol-Ark. We practice what we preach. We have Sol-Arks on our business, and that protects our business as well. So really awesome feature. It is our IP, and so if you have questions on that, we're happy to answer. Real quick about warranty. Customers place a lot of importance on that. We put the Sol-Arks through what's called 3 rounds of HALT, highly accelerated life testing. And basically what that is at Sol-Ark, since a lot of us have a background in defense engineering or we're veterans, we have a battlefield mindset to quality control, quality assurance, and making sure that the hardware is robust and the software is stable. Okay, we have over 3,000 systems in the field. We have less than 1% failures. We are not perfect, nobody is, but we take care of issues, and I would say 80% of those issues are just usually software related, early bugs that we can remotely debug and upload patches or any kind of necessary update. If there were a field issue with hardware, most of the boards and relays and things, if you need a comprehensive list, please reach out to support, but those are repairable in field. And of course, worst case scenario, if we have to swap out an inverter, we'll do that for you. We keep plenty of stock. Okay, so going back to common applications, again, tight budget for emergency backup. Whole home backup with a pretty decent budget. Time of use and utilities doing away with net metering. Demand charges. Customer already having solar and they need to retrofit and add a generator possibly and off-grid. So just reviewing again. We have some nice visuals, guys. I'm not going to go through the details of how all this works. That's really more for a technical webinar. But the objective of these visuals is to take what's really complex inside our manual and just make it palatable for the customer so that they can just understand the concepts. If they want to get more analytical, great. Show them the manual sample diagrams. Show them the webinars that Dylan and the guys do technically. But these we just put together. If you would like us to customize something for you, please reach out. We can't help you unless you ask for help. So like I can remove this and maybe put your logo on it or something. Just let us know what we can do for you, and we're happy to take care of it, okay? Don't be shy. I found that a lot of people just get hesitant to ask. Ask. Okay. So ultimately, the customer's going to ask, how much is it going to cost me to do all this, and what can I power in an outage? And this is really important for the new guys. Experience, you're going to know what to say. But if you're dealing with a customer and you've done grid tied for a long time, or you're new to solar, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you're caught flat-footed, what do you do? Well, most importantly, you got to manage expectations, just like in any situation. And the way we suggest you do that is when you ask for their utility bill, so Mr. and Mrs. Jones, for us to move forward, please provide an average bill or your trailing 12 months or whatever your way of doing it is. Make a load profile checklist. And what is a load profile for the new guys? It's a fancy term for everything that's going to be powered, everything that's going to be connected to the Sol-Ark. So refrigerator, lights, fans, oven, air conditioning, pretty much anything that they're going to have connected, okay? Make a checklist. If you need suggestions on a checklist, reach out to us. We're more than happy to provide suggestions. Keep it on your iPad or on your phone, or if you're old school, your notebook, and have it available. And these are the key questions that I always suggest asking. In fact, if you call in and you need our help, we're more than happy to help. We'll probably still ask you these questions about the customer. How many tons of AC do they have? How do you heat hot water? Is it gas or electric? Is your dryer gas or electric? Is your oven gas or electric? Cooktop? Do you have big tools, pumps? A lot of people are getting plug-in hybrids or electric vehicles. Do you have a generator? Or do you consider having a generator in the future? Big question. A lot of customers go, oh yeah, maybe. And then, do you already have solar? And guys, this is key info. It really is. And if you take the time to ask it, it's going to save you time, but also the customer will see you as thoughtful. At least that's been my experience. They will not be getting a cookie cutter pitch that they've always heard from the 42 companies that have called them when they've clicked on a Facebook lead things. So if you're speaking with them, they really will feel that you're genuine and sincere. And that's what we're about here at Sol-Ark, being genuine and authentic. Okay, guys? Questions, of course, call us here, 972-575-8875 if you get stuck. Lots to digest today, even for the new guys. So moving on. When you ask these questions, just keep a rule of thumb kind of in your mind that when they tell you how many tons of AC, they're going to need one inverter per 3 tons of AC. 3 tons of AC is about 36,000 BTUs. If you're not an HVAC person, look that up in Google. It's pretty easy to learn. With about minimum of 22 kilowatt hours of storage, and if they really want to run it at night, more than that. But this is where you'd be thinking about their budget. Hot water, guys. Old hot water heaters that are electric. I say oink oink hog hog. They are real just power suckers. So you're going to need more than one inverter, but I'll talk about some quick, easy, affordable solutions to solve this, to reduce the size of their system. Okay, dryer, same thing. Big hog. but a lot of people don't think about running this, you know, at night, and they do, and there's issues. So you gotta get more than one inverter, or make sure that they're just really aware of this and have some ideas. And I'll talk about some pro tips on that in a second. Cooktop, just electric, be mindful of that. Big tools, pumps, EV, big night load, and it's just being aware of that, setting the expectation, guys. Just planting that seed in the customer's mind that they don't think they're going to just be able to switch on everything during an outage or off-grid, and just everything's going to work all the time if they don't really have a pretty sizable system, even a Sol-Ark-sized system. So do you have a generator, or consider a generator? So Sol-Ark can frequency shift to work with almost any generator, even the dirtier ones. So I mentioned that before. I like to emphasize that. It's sure, yeah, we can do that. Answer. Do you already have solar? So guys, this is going to save, especially the new sales guys, pay attention. Design considerations to know up front. Your designers and your crews will thank you and buy you a coffee or a beer or whatever you like, because you are saving them time when they have to decide, do we DC couple, AC couple, or a combination thereof. It's going to save you time to have to go back out to the site for another site survey because you didn't ask it the first time, guys. Ask this question. It's a simple question, but it really can give you a lot of info, okay? So let's talk about some of these backup off-grid appliances. Okay, let's go back to the electric dryer and hot water heater. It's going to cost them a whole lot less in batteries or extra inverters if they just replace something they're replacing anyway. Old water heater, $500. Dryer, old dryers like $800. They just, but to power all that old stuff is going to cost them a ton of money. Extra inverters, extra batteries. So if they spent, and I'm rounding off numbers, people might call me out, but I'm trying to be generalizing. I'm talking to a global audience here. $9,000 in new appliances that are brand new, efficient, hybrid heat pump water heater, hybrid heat pump dryer, air fryers, mini split air conditioners. They can save a ton of money, have the same level of comfort, induction cooktop, and save themselves a ton of money, and you're going to get the job. You might even be able to work with them and package this and just upgrade them together if you're a company that kind of works on energy efficiency. Okay, so questions on this, guys? If you want to learn more about mini splits, go to highseer.com. We are not affiliated. We just like them, okay? And then if you have questions about these, please reach out, okay? So let's move on to a cheat sheet about batteries. A lot of guys call me up, oh my gosh, I'm about to go do a presentation. I have no idea how to size the batteries. Don't sweat it. Step one, which battery type? This is really easy. You're either going to go lithium, specifically lithium ferrophosphate. We recommend this chemistry. Why? Please just watch our other battery webinars. Dylan Hillman did an awesome one last week to go into that more deeply. But just trust us. Lithium ferrophosphate for daily battery use. So that means off-grid, zero export, so where there's no net metering, where they're doing time of use and demand management. If the customer has a really tight budget and it's kind of like they're going to make or break the deal, or maybe they're interested in our EMP technology, you know, you can give them occasional emergency backup, but again, we kind of see the price of lithium coming down so much where I think that's just a really tight budget play, but you'll have something to offer them, okay? And really important for the new guys, please understand that the Sol-Ark is an amazing piece of equipment, but if you install it battery ready and the grid goes down, it's still going to function just like a regular grid-tied inverter during an outage without batteries. You bare minimum got to have at least even just a tiny bit of batteries. I'm not necessarily advocating for it, but I have had some DIY customers literally just get some deep cycle marine batteries. We don't really recommend that for long term, but it just gave them a little bit of that ability just so the system didn't totally shut down, and it lets maybe their generator kick in. So if you have questions on that, if you have some customers that are really tight on their budget, or you're doing some projects in some lower income areas, let us know. Okay, moving on. Step 2. So we've decided on our battery type, and now step 2, how much storage do we need? 1, just take your bill that you got from the customer, the average bill, and find out the daily electric usage. Most of you probably get the monthly. Some bills, they show the daily, but if they don't, just divide by 30. It gets you pretty close, 31 in some months, 28 in February. Just use 30. And then multiply by 0.65. We can go into detail why we do that maybe offline or in another webinar, but just take our word for it. It's a kind of a down and dirty way to get close. There will be differences that will likely be found when you do your site survey and you start really getting into the weeds with the customer. But if you're trying to just get that provisional contract, you're going to get close with this number. Okay, guys? So, and don't forget to include, if necessary, any kind of time of use usage. So let's do an example. The monthly bill for Mr. and Mrs. Jones is 780 kilowatt hours a month. So we divide by 30. That's 29 kilowatt hours per day. We multiply by 0.65 and we get 19 kilowatt hours of storage. Okay? Again, if they have really heavy loads, they may need more, they may need less, but it's a nice rule of thumb to get kind of that, you're at a party and you got to kind of feel it out with a friend. This is a good way to do it. Okay? Pro tip, guys. Another pro tip, when designing for storage, face the panels south and west or southwest. Why is that important? Because the goal is more PV power later in the day, not grid cell peak. Okay? So conventionally, systems have been designed due south to maximize grid cell peak. This is more appropriate for off-grid or prioritizing backup situations. Okay, so you're going to help customers produce more power and save on their batteries, and they'll appreciate the fact that you've brought that to their attention. Okay, guys, call us again anytime. I'm kind of a broken record, but I really want to emphasize, call us at 972-575-8875 if you get stuck. We don't expect you to digest this and take the quiz afterwards and get 100 on it. It's going to be available. We'll be sending out this deck to all of you to share, as well as I'm recording this webinar for everyone. So let's talk about some examples. Lots on this page. So let's break it down and unpack it. This is a sizing cheat sheet for backup and off-grid. I like to call it the quick and dirty. So come over to the left here. Step 1, prepare your home loads checklist. I talked about this earlier. Have your checklist ready. Understand what they need to power. I like to say that the key items, again, are your central air conditioner and an old electric dryer. Everything else is kind of fluff. It's the same. Refrigerators, freezers, lights, fans, all that stuff is so efficient now. It sips power. Again, there are always exceptions, but you're going to be pretty safe just paying attention to these big items. And so a general rule of thumb, just add one 12K inverter per 3 tons of air conditioner. Okay? So we've done some examples here. Say you have a customer and they're doing an off-grid system. Or maybe it's a new build and battery backup is super important to them and they want to try to effectively disconnect from the utility, even if maybe legally they don't truly disconnect. So let's say they have 7 kilowatts of solar PV. They can use a mini split air conditioner, 2 to 3 tons. Mini splits are extremely efficient. Heat pump hot water, as I talked about before. Induction cooktop, heat pump dryer. 112K, 19 kilowatt hours of storage. Okay, guys? And maybe they want a little generator here. I put that there just, in case, tie in the generator. And then you have kind of your next level. So maybe 3,000 square feet home. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this could be up to a 5,000 square foot home. It's just a matter of how much power that they're using. But I try to generalize. So here, let's say you have a 3,000 square foot home with 5 tons of central air conditioning, and the customer wants to do solar plus storage, or they already have solar and they want to add storage. In an all-electric home, they have AC, they got a electric vehicle, a Tesla, or a plug-in hybrid, a Clarity or something. Then they have a couple of hot water heaters and a dryer. Again, I strongly recommend for about $1,000, they can get a new hybrid water heater if they don't go gas. And that's a whole lot less money than another several $1,000s for inverters and batteries. And it's going to save them a ton of money. Right? So 2 Sol-Arks, 38 kilowatt hours of storage. Okay. Next, moving on. You got a customer with a pretty large home, maybe 5,000 square feet or so. And we're doing lots of work with high-profile projects, guys, on private islands, talking 20,000 square foot mansions, where we're doing it. So if the jobs are getting pretty big, don't sweat it. We can handle it, okay? 20 kilowatts of PV, let's say. Maybe 30 kilowatts, but for this example, let's say they have 10 tons of air conditioning, electric car, and a whole lot. You can do probably 3 Sol-Arks with 57 kilowatt hours of storage, maybe 4, maybe 5 if they have a hot tub or something like that. But again, guys, trying to generalize and get you 80 to 90% of the way there to get that provisional agreement to do your site survey. Okay. Next, stack up to 8 of our 12Ks. So imagine you have a customer that is a commercial real estate person, or I have a friend personally that owns independent pharmacies. They're looking at doing Sol-Arks locally here in Dallas. So imagine my buddy has 15 tons of air conditioning. He's got 10 tons of medical grade refrigeration and freezing for all of the medications that they keep. They cannot afford the downtime. It would cost them tens of thousands of dollars just for every minute that they're down. So they need UPS, they need the no-glitch switch, they need the power, especially the peak power, to at least run even some of this. And it's 208 3-phase. Okay, they already have a Generac actually, and that's really important to them to tie in that investment. So I'm generalizing, but I'm wanting to communicate that if you do a lot of light commercial work or you have those potential projects, we can do that for you. Okay, call us, reach out. We're more than happy to coach you and your design team through any drawings or something that you're working on. Okay, so, but that'll get you really close if you're trying to get to the next step with the customer. Okay, again, I put those suggestions on this slide as well, so you have it handy. 972-575-8875, guys. Call us if you get stuck. Okay, so again, these are not hard rules. These are generalizations to just get you close. But I'd like to think that these are close enough. Okay. So the customer's now wanting to know, okay, again, how much is this going to cost? So let's talk about the pros and cons of what's out there. We've taken all of the data sheets and we've bought inverters from other companies, and we've run the tests, we've extracted the data and really unpacked everything. So as a salesperson, especially for you new guys, it's just really important to be an expert in the product. And it's not just a Sol-Ark. Maybe it's panels. Maybe it's balance of system. Your racking. You got to know what else is out there and what everything you can and cannot do, and let the customer make that choice. So when talking about Sol-Ark, the numbers on this page are MSRP. I say again, MSRP, retail online pricing. It is not a distributor price. It is not an installer price or channel partner price. If that's of interest to you, please reach out to us. We'll talk about that with you. This is so that customers on a retail level have an apples-to-apples visual on what we've been able to offer them through all of you guys. Okay, so Sol-Ark 12K, let's go back up to this one system, this 7 kilowatt system. If they just go with one, you got one Sol-Ark 12K at 6850, and then the lithium iron phosphate batteries, and rapid shutdown using Tigos. Again, we're not going to go too much into the technical, but we do recommend Tigo for rapid shutdown, or if they do need optimization, to get the Tigo optimizers. Okay, so this hardware cost right here includes the Tigos. If you remove that, then it's about $1,000 less. So a quick review of the Sol-Ark features. So much to talk about, but be thinking about these when with the customer. Peak power, again. We are the most efficient inverter out there, in and out of batteries. There are a lot of grid-tied inverters that are extremely efficient. We highly respect them for their grid-tied capabilities, but when you start going in and out of batteries, there's a lot of loss. So we worked really hard to bring this number down as much as we could. Only 7%. AC coupling to your existing solar customers. Working with lithium iron phosphate, you're going to get 6,000 cycles on a battery. 4 millisecond transfer time. So that's UPS grade, no-clip switch. Generators, parallel stacking, 10-year warranty, and again, I'm a broken record when I say to call us. Encourage your customers or prospects to call us. Experience who we are and our team. Okay? So outdoor enclosure. There's so much packed inside this box. Power electronics, especially hybrid inverters, are really complex. So there are some heat considerations that have put us in a situation to only have an indoor rated case, but not to fret. I know a lot of installers that are either using maybe Simplify's access unit, or they actually, funnily enough, they'll go to Home Depot and they'll buy a $500 shed, and voila, they've solved their outdoor problem. Okay, so customers often ask, well, what about Tesla? I heard about that Tesla Powerwall. Okay, so Tesla, we just unpacked what they can do, and so they'll do with 2 Powerwalls, 10 kilowatts AC output when they're on grid. They can AC couple, pretty cool. You can put multiple Tesla walls together. They do have the outdoor enclosure, and they have a 10-year warranty. But one thing I learned about that warranty from Tom Brennan, our lead engineer, is that warranty will drop to 5 years if it's offline, meaning not connected to the internet, for 48 hours. So that's an interesting note. They lose a little bit more, not too much, but the battery life is only half. They don't support generators. It takes 500 times longer to switch when the grid goes down, so there's glitch, and then you just need more equipment. There's more involved. You got to get another grid-tied inverter and put it all together. So if they're going off-grid, there's no load shedding available. So for about the same equipment cost, this is what Tesla will offer. Okay. Oh, and there's right here, no UPS. Okay, so we broke it down, and again, everybody's going to get a copy of this so you can digest it. But to go through it pretty quickly, we did a cost analysis where with only 7.5% losses, Tesla's at 13%. Down here, we did a comparison with Sonnen. I'm not including that today just because it's very expensive and we don't have a lot of time. If you have questions, of course, please reach out. But what we wanted to show is that if you have lithium iron phosphate, you're going to get 16 years of battery life. And if you have to replace a Tesla, you got to replace the whole box because the battery's inside of it with the inverter. So the actual, even though the hardware cost is about the same, they're going to have a higher levelized cost because they're going to have to replace the unit. Okay, so that might be important to some customers. Anyhow, so moving on to SolarEdge. Maybe a lot of you work with SolarEdge grid-tied and you're getting questions about the StoreEdge LG Chem solution, or perhaps you work with it already. So this is the StoreEdge equipment, and they can AC couple to existing inverters. They have a 25-year warranty available for the inverter. We have another battery webinar where we talk about the LG Chem battery. I'll just touch on that really quick. They're very transparent, which we respect, but the battery warranty drops off prorated in about the 5th year. So it's not going to be covered very long. Okay. Please check out our battery chemistries webinar that Dylan did last week, and to learn more about that. Okay, and then optimizers here. So pretty good, but what we found is that that they actually have a lot of stuff going on inside of their batteries. There's a lot of what's called step up and step down voltages. For the new guys, again, don't expect you to understand all of this, but suffice it to say that there's just a lot of loss when connected with the batteries. Lower battery life, you're not going to be able to connect the generator. Slower transfer time, even if you want to, you can't, of course, stack them, and then it's just really not the right solution off-grid. Maybe for some basic backup on-grid, I can totally see it if the customer insists on SolarEdge, but for off-grid, probably not the right one. Okay, oh, I did include that slide. Excuse me. Okay, so here is the battery schedule for its warranty. You'll have this available, but it shows kind of about here, and about the 5th year, that's when it really starts to drop off. Okay. Enphase. So Enphase has come out with their Encharge. It's a pretty sleek looking system, and it's pretty cool actually. I mean, it does good output on grid. It's 6,000 cycles. It has an outdoor enclosure. It's stackable, 10-year warranty. We found that though it doesn't load shed for off-grid. Doesn't lose too much here, but to our understanding, it doesn't support generators, and it's got a pretty long transfer time, and it's just really, unfortunately, not the right solution for an off-grid play. Just in our opinion, that's just not enough power. Whether it's a Sol-Ark or another, there's probably another thing out there. So probably good for time of use or maybe some kind of energy arbitrage. And then what we've learned is that it's only AC coupling available to new Enphase. So not sure if that is important to you, but that's what we found. And it's kind of expensive. Okay, so again, talking about what we do, let's look at the cost comparison. So the overall cost to your customer, hardware with lithium iron phosphate battery and one Sol-Ark is going to run about $21,000. Again, for anyone who's just joining, these are MSRP costs. If you did a bill of materials breakdown for your retail customer, this is what we're finding if they bought the equipment themselves online, what it's going to run them to put it all together. End phase here, again, pretty good, but just it's expensive based on what we've been researching. Then Solar Edge, just not as much power, so you have to have more inverters. There's some losses, and then the battery life is just not quite there. So the hardware cost is about the same, but there's the value consideration that we want to let the customer make that decision about what's important to them, and this lays it out there. So again, our Christmas chart, it takes what I just showed you and breaks it down into a clean Excel format. Again, don't expect the newer sales to understand all of it, but it's available to you. If you have the more analytical customer, please point them to our website at Sol-Ark.com, and you can refer them to this chart, as well as encourage them to call us, in fact, if they have questions. Okay, so help us help you. Okay, guys, so I really wanted to emphasize how awesome our engineering support team is. I am not an engineer by education. I've learned so much from these guys. They're extremely patient with me and everybody in our business office. They are awesome. Do not be shy. Call them at 972-575-8875, option 2. Email at support if you have design considerations, drawings you just need a second opinion on. Experience what they can do for you guys 7 days a week. Full-time Texas-based support, okay? It's worth a whole lot of money in hourly. Think about what a consultant would cost. It's our service to you and complimentary, being our customer. We can even remotely program for your customers or for you if you just get a little stuck. Push updates. Really take advantage of this. It's awesome having the service available to you. Our team, has 30+ years of defense engineering and power electronics experience. We do a lot of video updates. Check out our YouTube channel. We have sample diagrams in our 12K manual. Go to solark.com/support and then scroll down. You'll be able to just click and find the manual, pages 11 through 17 for the sample diagrams, okay? We are really proactive, guys. We check alarms and things on the system a couple times a day for customers, and we actually call them without them asking. Of course, if they ask us not to call them, we won't, but we call them and just kind of keep them posted and check in on what's going on, and they found that to be really refreshing. Okay, so you are not alone, especially anyone who's new to storage or solar plus storage or sales in the solar space. If you're a business owner, please send your team just to call us if they have general questions about our products or something. We are here to support you. Okay, so kudos to the engineering team. So let's wrap this up, guys. Really appreciate everybody being with us today. Lots of information we've unpacked. The Sol-Ark is an easy cross-sell. So if you have an existing customer base and they're dealing with a funky utility and it's charging them crazy rates, time of use. Easy cross-sell for your existing microinverter systems, AC coupling. We are the most powerful. You can power really heavy stuff, guys. We're Texans, and we like big stuff. So power it. We can do it, and add generators. Okay? You got a 10-year warranty, robust hardware, backed by HALT testing. You can install with confidence, 7 days a week. Again, our support. And I love being able to get stories from installers when they could say, man, I closed, because I could say, sure, Sol-Ark can do that. Let us be the most affordable and best value for your customers. And lastly, we wouldn't be where we are today, guys, if we did not listen to you. Tell us how we can help you grow. It's really important you give us feedback. We have thick skin. We love to improve. We know we're not perfect, but we strive to be perfect. Please take 2 minutes, scan this QR code, and you'll get a link after the webinar. Give us a 2-minute feedback. If you like what you saw today, great. If you hated it, that's okay too. Tell me. If you have suggestions, if you'd like to see us cover something in future webinars, let us know. Help us help you. Okay? If you get stuck, you're not alone. You can schedule a live appointment. Let us help you close. I've even been on the phone with some customers with their homeowners at the kitchen table or with a business owner. Schedule it. We'll do it for you and with you. Okay, guys? And if you're not already with us, you can join our network here at Sol-Ark.com, installer distributor. If you're interested, please just go to that link and fill out the form. And if you have questions, give us a call, 972-575-8875, option 1. I will be happy to take care of you. We also have an excellent gentleman, Philip McIver, working with us. He'll take care of you as well. Bhavna O'Brien, we're all here for you. Okay, so I'm going to open it up now to Q&A. I can see there's been a lot of activity in the chat.